Welcome to Oryx Learning. Today's lesson is on Unit 6, Triangles and Pythagorean Theorem, Lesson 7, Distance on a Coordinate Plane. Let's review the Pythagorean Theorem. The Pythagorean Theorem states the relationship between the sides of a right triangle. It is expressed in the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the lengths of the legs of the triangle, and c is the length of the hypotenuse. The distance formula is used to find the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. It is derived from the Pythagorean theorem because the distance between the 2 points can be seen as a hypotenuse of a right triangle. To find the distance between 2 points, first identify the coordinates of the 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. Second, enter those coordinate values into the formula d equals the square root of the quantity x1 minus x2 squared plus the quantity y1 minus y2 squared. Next, simplify the expression to find the distance. Find the length of the missing side. Round the answer to the nearest tenth. As we can see in the diagram, the hypotenuse is 15 units and the leg is 9 units. We substitute those values in for c and a in the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Substituting in the values, we get 9 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. 9 squared is 81, 15 squared is 225, so this gives us 81 plus b squared equals 225. Subtract 81 from both sides of the equation and simplify to get b squared equals 144. Take the square root of both sides of the equation to get b equals 12. What is the distance between a, negative 3, 4, and b, 2, 4? We can count 5 units going from point A to point B. We can also find the distance by subtracting the x-coordinates. 2 minus a negative 3 equals 5. We can do this because points A and B are on a horizontal line. They are at the same height. Use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of the segment. Round the answer to the nearest tenth. The horizontal distance between the 2 points is 5, and the vertical distance is 4. Use the Pythagorean theorem and substitute 4 and 5 for a and b. Using the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and substituting in the values, we get 4 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. 16 plus 25 gives us 41, so 41 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides of the equation, and we get c equals the square root of 41, which is approximately 6.4. Use the distance formula to find the distance between y, negative 7, 5, and z, 2, negative 6. Round the answer to the nearest tenth. Substitute the x and y coordinates into the distance formula. d equals the square root of the quantity x1 minus x2 squared plus the quantity of y1 minus y2 squared. Substituting in the values, we get the square root of the quantity of negative 7 minus 2 squared plus the quantity of 5 minus a negative 6 squared. Simplifying, we get d equals the square root of negative 9 squared plus 11 squared. Simplifying further, we can get d equals 81 plus 121, or 202. The square root of 202 is approximately 14.2. So our distance between point y and z is approximately 14.2 units. On a map, each unit of the grid measures 2 kilometers. A boat leaves a dock located at the point 1,3 on the map. It sails to an island located at 6,2. How far does the boat sail? Round the answer to the nearest tenth of a kilometer. Substitute the x and y coordinates into the distance formula. Substituting the values in, we'll get d equals the square root of the quantity 1 minus 6 squared plus the quantity of 3 minus 2 squared. Simplifying, we get d equals the square root of negative 5 squared plus 1 squared. Simplifying further, we get d equals the square root of 25 plus 1, or the square root of 26. The square root of 26 is approximately 5.1. Since each unit on the map equals 2 kilometers in real life, 5.1 units equals 10.2 kilometers. So the boat traveled approximately 10.2 kilometers to the island. That is our lesson for today. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed it.